Hello everyone, my friends. I'm Ufuk from the Monte Crypto Conti team. Today, together with you, we'll be looking into the case of an invisible whale in crypto. We're going to examine the incident where it's claimed that, just minutes before Donald Trump's statement about China, a massive move was made. Did the whale really know in advance, or was it just exceptionally good at reading the market? And most importantly, the thing we're most curious about here is, can you also follow these whales with a 100% success rate and take positions like they do? I'll be explaining all of this in our video. I think it's going to be a jam-packed video, so please don't forget to watch it from start to finish. If you're ready, let's get into our video. First, I'd like to start with a quick reminder. We share a lot of educational, informative content that can help you make money. As the Monte Crypto Conti team, you can support us by subscribing and turning on the notification bell. Now let's quickly get into our video. Now let's take a look at what happened on October 10th, 2015. Trump imposed a 100% customs tariff on China. Then, Beijing threatened America by halting the export of rare earth elements. After this, there was a crash in all global markets. Friends, of course, the crypto market was also affected by this. A total of 1,600,000 people were leaked, and $20 billion were completely wiped out from the crypto market. In other words, it just vanished. As Kontokan wrote here, I've been in this market for about 10 years. I don't remember such a sudden and sharp crash. To be honest, I've also been in the market for 4 to 5 years, and I don't remember a crash like this. The exchanges stopped, we couldn't make any transactions. When I refreshed my wallet, I saw that even stablecoin pairs like USDT and USDC had disappeared. So there was a crash, even on the exchanges. Friends, it was quite a tough night for us as well. In fact, if we look at the charts, you can see here that Bitcoin dropped from the $122,000 level to as low as $100,000 on the night of October 10th. There were even drops of 80%, 90%, and in some cases 95% in altcoins. One of them was XRP, friends. When we look at it, XRP's crash that night was around 55%. Of course, this is specific to XRP. There were even bigger crashes in other altcoins. For example, let's look at SEI. This is one of the coins I follow. In SEI, let's take a look. Here, you can see there was a 76% drop as well. Of course, there were even some coins that went to zero that night. I can say it was a very interesting night. Of course, this wasn't just limited to the crypto markets. There were also major drops in the Nasdaq and S&P 500. By major drop, I mean a 3% decline. Given the total money supply here, that's actually quite a significant amount, friends. Please don't underestimate a 3% drop for the Nasdaq and S&P 500. Because with that 3%, billions of dollars were wiped out. They just vanished. Poof. Of course, there were also people who made money from these drops. And there were those who lost money as well. Before this news came out, that is, before Trump announced the 100% tariff on China, half an hour earlier, a whale opened short positions on Bitcoin and Ethereum and made a total profit of $170 million. That's realized profit. By the way, that means they completely closed their position and took their profit, friends. In fact, if we look at it this way, there was a profit of $99 million in their first wallet, and in the second wallet, you can see a profit of $72 million. Right now, they've emptied their wallets, meaning they've transferred their money to different wallet addresses. In a moment, we'll also take a look at those wallet addresses. From where, from which platforms? I'll be explaining to you how you can track whales like this. So how large was the total position this whale opened, friends? It wouldn't be wrong to say that they opened a position worth around $1 billion. And then, the profits that were realized, I already showed you this a little earlier. They made a profit of $99 million in their first wallet and $72 million in their second wallet. So who is this whale that the entire crypto market is talking about? It is said that this person is a Bitcoin OG. And it certainly looks that way, friends, because it's known that they've owned 86,000 BTC since 2011. Honestly, this really proves to us that they're a true OG. We're not trying to crack a code here. This is actually our main goal here. To follow whales like this and be able to take positions like they do. For example, if this person took a position 30 minutes ago, you can take a position 25 minutes ago as well by tracking these wallets. Now, let's get to the part you've all been curious about. How you can track those wallets on which platforms. Our first tool is Look On Chain, friends. Here you can view the news. So you can track wallets with a high success rate. Then, when we go to the articles section, you can view topics that have been highlighted on X regarding hypo. You can even view those tweets here as well. This is quite valuable for us. But to find the wallets, you need to go to the Look On Chain Smart Money section. For example, let's click on our first news item. When we translate this into Turkish, you'll understand it better. It says, meet this smart wallet, which has made a profit of $48 million in the last 4 months. The person has made a profit of $48 million in the last 4 months. In fact, they've even shared the wallet address in this news. So, by copying this wallet address, I'll show you in a moment. You can check it on platforms, guys. The success rate is quite high because it has made a profit of $48 million. Of course, it might make sense to follow it, but whether you make trades based on this, that's entirely up to you. Nothing I explain here is investment advice. I want to emphasize that. Because whales can sometimes be dangerous. Guys, they can use you as liquidity. You really need to pay attention to these things. And when you truly learn how to track them, when you can predict what that whale might do, you need to make your trades accordingly. Because just like with everything else, there is a risk here too. These whales we are tracking are also human. Some of them might be getting insider information, but others are trading by predicting the market. And sometimes unexpected results can come up, as happened on December 2025. So please try to avoid trading while following these wallets as much as possible. And only make a decision after you have truly figured things out and learned them thoroughly. As I said, you can easily access wallet addresses from here, friends. For example, you can check here. This person has made a profit of $48 million. Then let's look at another wallet address, for example. We scroll down here. And this trader here has made a total profit of $4.23 million. That corresponds to 598%. Here, you can add the wallets you like to your watch list, keep them on your radar. So how can we view the balance and transactions? In other words, the activities inside these wallets. For example, we just copied the wallet address. Friends, I also opened it on my screen. In fact, let me go directly to the homepage of Arkham. After entering the homepage, I paste the wallet address I copied at the top, friends. By the way, you can also track wallets like Vitalik's here. For example, there's BlackRock. Has it bought or sold Bitcoin? You can also easily track these from here. I think this will guide you regarding the direction of the market. We've completed our wallet analysis. Then we click. Inside this wallet, as we saw in the news we just checked, there is a balance of $18 million. This is spread across different networks. Friends, most of it is on the Ethereum network. The second largest is on Arbitrum. When we look at the portfolio, we see that they mostly hold USDT. In other words, we see that they are holding stable coins. When we check their transactions, the last one was a week ago, where they borrowed and lent on Aave. In fact, you can view it like this as well. Friends, I really think it's a great platform. Behind me, a loan of $17 million was issued on Aave. Of course, lending and borrowing platforms. You need to know how to use these. They are also quite risky. Let me emphasize that as well. Then, as I said, you can see the transactions here. In fact, if you don't want to see all the transfers, you can check the deposits. For example, when we go to deposits, we can see how much money was put into the wallet from here. And when we select withdrawals, you can view the transfers from the wallet to different exchanges. In this way, you can access all the on-chain data of this wallet. Our third platform is Nansen. With Nansen, you can create a portfolio. You can track wallets through the portfolio. I think the paid versions are better. For example, when we select PNL, as you can see, it asks you to upgrade to the paid version. But you can still view many things for free, just like you see behind me. In fact, I've added 2 wallets to my own portfolio. The first one is the wallet I mentioned at the beginning, the one that made a transaction 30 minutes before Trump, guys. And when we go to that wallet, you can see what transactions it has made from here. Let's even click on transaction. Let's see where this wallet sent the money afterwards. As you can see, this person withdrew a balance of $36 million. You can also track these kinds of transactions on Nansen. Of course, PNL and the trades that have been opened. You can find data like trade performance in the paid version. Honestly, I use this as the paid version, but I couldn't log into my account. Guys, in my next video, I might prepare some content related to this as well. You can actually track things quite well from here. In fact, since it's AI supported, it has a few more important features. If you are someone who trades, I think it will be quite useful for you as well. So, where can you view these short and long positions? Since I'm explaining this to someone who knows nothing about it, I chose platforms that have a very easy to use interface. One of them is Hyperscan, guys. On Hyperscan, you can view the short and long positions of wallets. Of course, it might not support different networks. I haven't checked that. But right now, for example, we can track the wallet address we copied from LookOnChain. You come here to the search section. You enter the wallet address. Then, when you click on purpose, a screen like this appears. On this screen, for example, there is currently an unrealized transaction. On this transaction, there is a loss of almost $400,000. They opened a long position on the Bitcoin pair. With how much Bitcoin and at what leverage, you can view all the positions they've opened. Guys, Honestly, it has a very useful interface. In fact, when we go to the purple section here, you can also see the P&L. Currently, when we look at all time, there is a profit of $22 million. So what does this mean? A successful trader, if you saw losses here, I mean, if all their trades were in the red, you could call them an unsuccessful trader, an unsuccessful whale. But despite all those losses, as you can see, despite all those losses, at the end of the day, this guy has a total profit of $22 million. You can also check that through Hyperscan. Of course, it's also available on Nansen. You can also check things through Nansen. Personally, I like Nansen more. By the way, if you want a detailed video about Nansen and Arkham, or if you want to take action here, let me know in the comments section. I'll do my best to get a video out to you as quickly as possible. I will. To sum up, friends, I tried to explain everything step by step as best as I could. The reason I explained it step by step is because everything is interconnected. So, what were we doing on Lucan Chain? We could follow the news. Real-time news. And look, just 6 minutes ago, there was news about a refund on Mega Ethereum. By the way, we had participated in this. Let me not skip giving you that information as well. Then, when you go to the articles section, you can view the current hype meta topics on X. When you go to Lucan Chain Smart Money, you can find successful wallet addresses here and track them on Arkham and Nansen. Through Hyperscan, you can also see how much leverage this person has used, how much loss or profit they are in. I tried to explain it as simply as I could. As I said, if you want a more detailed video, I'm considering preparing one about that as well. Please, as I mentioned, like this in the comments section. And please don't forget to like our video for motivation, so that we can continue making videos like this. I will keep working on it as much as I can. Let's slowly wrap up our video now. Nothing I have explained or mentioned here is investment advice, because following these things can really involve significant risks. This whale could use you as liquidity. They can keep transferring from different wallet addresses to cover their tracks. After all, these people are human too. If you're trading, don't focus on just one thing. Do on-chain analysis, follow the news, try to look at as many metrics as possible, as much as you can. They're human too. Of course, some of them might get insider information, but we don't know that, friends. As I mentioned at the beginning, there is a Bitcoin OG, and it's not known whether this OG is getting insider information or not. Okay, I might say it's 70% or 80% likely, but this is definitely not a proven fact. That's why I recommend you take action accordingly. If you have any questions, you can ask them in the comments section. I'll do my best to answer them. Hope to see you in our next video. Goodbye.